This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours. We're a music podcast that chats to artists, musicians and creatives on their songwriting craft and upcoming projects. I'm your host Simon Fink and welcome to episode 255. This week begins our return to just one episode per week, simply while we're off travelling and potentially bringing back some more interviews for this very podcast. We will be returning to 2 episodes per week come the middle of June, but for now, in case you're wondering where half of those episodes have gone, that is the reason why. Our guest for today's episode, however, is Matt Maltese. The indie singer and songwriter from the UK released his gorgeous 4th record last week, which is titled Driving Just to Drive. Before we get to our conversation with Matt, please make sure you're subscribed to the podcast to stay up to date with each episode and that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. Monday saw us release a brand new episode with the lovely pop duo Cat and Kamal. It is a very fun episode, so please make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all of our video episodes as well. Both our YouTube and all other social media links can be found within today's show notes. Our guest today is Matt Maltese. The indie pop songwriter has been writing and making music since the age of 14 and has been prolific in his output, releasing 4 studio records and 4 EPs over the past 7 years. The UK-based musician is well revered amongst his peers, including artists like Doja Cat, Maisie Peters, BTS, and more who sing his praises. Like it tends to do, the internet turned his 2017 single As the World Caves In into a TikTok phenomenon in June of 2021, and that saw his fan base just grow even larger. This last week, Matt released his 4th studio record titled Driving Just to Drive. It is a gorgeous collection of songs and a collection that he will be bringing down to Australia later this month. We were lucky enough to speak to Matt a few weeks ago about the brand new record and his impending Australian tour. We talked about his introduction to songwriting and what his process usually looks like. We had a discussion about what it's like to have fans in artists like Doja Cat, Jamie T and others. And we do discuss his prolific output of music across the last number of years and whether they're working him too hard. Details for the new record and where you can see him live are all in today's show notes, and we want to thank Bailey from Nettwerk for her help with today's episode. Here is our conversation with Matt Maltese.
She looks at you straight in the eye, and with a warm and wise goodbye, says all you'd have to be.
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Matt Maltese. Hello, kind sir. How are we?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Whereabouts? Thank you for asking. Whereabouts are you joining us from today, Matt?
I am in cloudy Brixton in London. Yeah.
Lovely. How has the morning been for you so far?
Pretty standard. Yeah, I didn't go for a run this morning. It's my sort of day off running, so incredibly relaxed.
That is very fair. I find some people enjoy the run and find that helps them relax a little bit, but is it the opposite for yourself?
No, me too. But I think I found that I run so much, as in I run like daily, that actually the days off feel weirdly like a holiday now. So I'm a big advocate for not exercising when you already exercise. Balance. I'm aiming for balance. Yeah.
I love that. I feel very lucky that we are able to have a chat today. It's an incredibly exciting time for yourself. There is a brand new record coming out that is out now, Driving Just to Drive. Firstly, congratulations on this record.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
No, of course. Before we get into the kind of nitty-gritty of this record, I just kind of wanted to comment, because as I was going through the discography today and having a look, it kind of seems like, well, I'm concerned that they're working you to death, Matt. It seems like we've had a release from you almost every year for the past 6 years.
Yeah, it's that damn contract, contractually obliged. I'm probably working myself. It's more me than anyone else. Yeah, I'm like quite addicted to making albums at this point, for better or for worse. And yeah, I think I just feel, ever since putting music out, I feel really useless when I'm not putting music out. And so, and I also feel like we all do, the sort of hanging from the cliff with one hand, that this job makes you sometimes feel like. And yeah, you got to just like stay in the running to even have an audience and a life doing it. And yeah, I feel sort of, whether those are real external forces or just created in my mind is yet to be seen. But, but yeah, no, hey, I enjoy it.
Well, again, it seems to be, I think that there's a lot of people enjoying the fact that you are so prolific in your output, that we have been able to, I think, what was it? It was, this is the 4th studio record, and I think that there's I want to say 3 EPs and a live EP, if I've got myself correct. But
yes, correct. Yeah.
It for you, I guess, in terms of what we were just discussing, is it very much, and we've spoken to numerous songwriters about this, and even to music podcasters about this, that you're working on this thing that is your baby. It's taking up so much of your time, and then the second that it's out of your hands, you realize you've got nothing to do, and so you kind of just jump straight back into it.
Yeah, totally. It's almost like ever since exam season started in my mind, at like 11, I'm constantly in this like pent up working for that moment, and then you don't have the moment and you're like, what am I working towards? And so you just start again. So yeah, like a human hamster. I mean, I suppose we all have that a bit. I think the balance that I am finding a bit more is, I think now that I'm, I guess, 4 albums in, I feel a little bit more comfortable with the next one taking a bit longer, maybe, 5 or 6 days longer. But yeah, I'd like to just keep making them, because it feels right. It feels like what I'm useful for. Yeah.
I can very much appreciate that feeling, and I can only speak for myself, but I would very much enjoy for you to keep making music, and I know others would as well. This brand new record, Driving Just to Drive, I'm curious, as we've just discussed, you've got a fantastic work ethic. How long between that 3rd record did you begin to write some of the songs for this record?
I'd say I probably started in earnest a few months after that. After Good Morning It's Not Tomorrow came out, it's really Christmas 2021 where I wrote a lot of it, and then I sort of went on a US tour, so I had time to kind of mull over it, long journeys to listen back and say that's good, that's bad, and yeah, sort of made it last summer. So yeah, it definitely had enough space. I think for me, I do think it's nice to write. It's nice to write and then have a break between making it and writing it. But I quite like to just continue the writing. I think too much of a break from the writing, I often feel like I lose a kind of stamina. That's just my own relationship with the making of things, is that I do feel like, as of course, living real life is very important, and still doing that. And finding a balance. But I think if I'm doing like 5 hours a day, that's way better than like 3 months off and then like 10 hours a day. You know, I kind of just like it to be ticking over in my sort of daily routine, because it's weird, you know, it's weird to like have a job where you have to document and reflect all the time. And I think when you stop doing that for a bit, you're like, this is quite nice not to document and reflect. And then when you do document and reflect, you're like, oh, this is really nice. You know, like both are kind of nice. I don't think that, I think people often talk about songwriting as like, it's incredible to like express your feelings. And like, of course it is, but I also see a lot of happy people who don't have that outlet. And yeah, I think who knows what my point is at this point, but yeah, both are good. But I think staying in one camp continuously works for me. Yeah.
Look, I can very much appreciate that. I think that sometimes, especially if you've, this record is a beautiful kind of, I want to say snapshot of not necessarily the past, but of like normal life, if you will, that it's not a record about the trappings of fame or whatever it may be, that this is a really kind of heartfelt home style record.
Thank you. Yeah. I sometimes, you know, I often feel really lucky in a funny way that I haven't had the kind of success that drastically changes my lifestyle. And I've, you know, for the most part, live the same, you know, I maybe get like recognized on the tube 4 times a year, but at the end of the day, I kind of still get to live a pretty normal life. And I have a lot of friends who aren't in music, and I tour, but I don't tour to a point where my whole life is tour. And I do think, I just think that has allowed me to continue to make records that feel based on like just the minutiae of life that you kind of don't get as much when you're like, time is £1,000 an hour, you know. And it's funny. I think I've experienced it writing for a lot of other people, and you see some people's lives are just so, their time is so valuable, and that can be a really weird place to write from. So keep having invaluable time. That's my motto. Yes.
How are you, I guess, as a songwriter, are you someone who has inspiration hit and you might sound a little bit cliche, but you pull out the notebook, you jot lyrics down, or are you a voice memo person, or is it possibly a melody that jumps into your mind first?
Yeah, I'm a big voice memo person. I have thousands upon thousands of them. I'd say that the sort of balance between voice memo to actually making it quite a conscious decision to sit down and write has shifted a lot as I've been a little bit more kind of 9 to 5 about this job, and you know, like just actually sat down at the piano every day and try and massage inspiration into happening, rather than walk along the street and be like, oh, now I have the moment and I wish I was sitting at a piano. Because I think we all have like a spark that comes randomly, but I think the more I allow myself to like be able to catch that spark, the better it all is, and that often means just like putting my ass on the seat and being at the piano enough.
That's very fair. I would love to talk about some of the tracks from this record, if you'll allow me to. I wanted to firstly touch on, we were talking before about some of the lyrical content of this record, and I feel that you've hit a very niche market with the track Mother in terms of and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that this one is about, I guess, the dissolution of a relationship, but the external kind of relationships that are affected by that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it kind of all came from a conversation I had with my mum about an ex of mine, and kind of just talking about her own process of grieving after it. You know, because your partners become close to your family a lot of the time, and it kind of also came at a point where I was probably, ironically, like past that journey when she wasn't yet, and so I was the comforter in that conversation, and then that was just really funny. I was like, I was meant to be the broken-hearted one. So we kind of, it was just that really, like, it had sort of all the makings of a regular conversation about heartbreak, but it was just weirdly reversed and strange and funny and touching, and that gave birth to that song. Really, it was like a heartbreak song, but comforting your mum about it, not yourself.
If you'll allow me, I would be really curious, because it is a very unique situation. As you said, the roles are kind of reversed. How does that go from sitting in that moment, comforting your mum, to then having this song kind of written? I guess, at what stage does it turn into inspiration for a song?
I think conversations like that can just really stick with you. You know, you kind of, I feel like all of us, our memories of conversations are always the stranger ones, and the more unique the topic was, the more likely you are to kind of come back to it a lot in your mind. And I think there was just that did just sit in my head for a while, and then I think I thought of that. I think it was that lyric. It was the kind of the rhyming of mother and daughter, which is so simple, but then the mother you'll learn to love again. I know she was the daughter you never had. And I just thought, and that felt so sad, but also kind of just like quite ridiculous lyric to sing. And I think once that was there, it just kind of all happened. It was like I was really set on making it a decent song. And it's always a moment of pressure you put on a song there, where you know you have like a concept or a lyric that you feel really good about, and you're like, and now I have to like actually write the song and make it really good. But I do find that I respond. I'm good under pressure. Then I'm better under pressure than when I'm not, I think.
That's 100% fair. I do love that. The other track I was hoping you'll indulge me in is Coward, which is another fantastic track on the record. The first thing I have to ask about, because I apologize in advance, in my preparation I was not able to find who, because sonically it's this gorgeous duet almost. Who is this other person that you're singing with on this track?
It's an artist called Big Pig, and she's an Irish singer who I've come across her music quite a lot, and just always a fan, and we've met a few times, and I sort of did some writing with her at one point, and then she has this, as you can hear in the track, she just has this incredibly intimate voice. I feel, there's definitely a lot of artists that do that. I guess like Billie Eilish is a great example, but people that make you feel like they're really in your ear. And I felt like Big Pig had that. And we sort of just wrote that second verse together, and it felt really natural, and she's lovely. It was great.
That is awesome. That is not who I was going to guess. I had a few people in mind. And that was not... I guess from that, writing with people, where did the inspiration for that song come from? And I guess, what do you like as this might be a two-part question, but what do you like as a collaborator as well?
That song existed as a half song for a while. And I think in a similar way to my record before, I had a song called Oldest Trick in the Book. It was one of those where for some reason the other half just didn't feel natural, and it felt like all avenues had been exhausted a bit. So I find that collaboration is kind of the perfect thing for a situation like that, is when you really can't do it yourself. You need someone almost. And I think that I've found from writing for other people a lot is that, the right two people together can make something amazing. And often I think that my own, it was almost early on in my career, I think it was almost my own ego that made me never collaborate and made me never write with other people for myself or with other people for them. And I think as that deteriorated away and I realized how silly that ego was, I've just been able to be a part of some amazing songs and make songs like Coward better than they would have been if I had just been too annoyingly headstrong about it being all me.
The most powerful designer drugs are the digital ones we use daily. And we get high off them. One touch, tap, like, scroll at a time. Just like tech creators want us to. Use digital without digital using you. Learn more at sync.ithra.com.
Did you know 1 in 2 women wear the wrong foundation? Matching foundation is hard, but Il Makiage makes it easy. Take the Power Match quiz to find a better match in seconds, customized for your unique skin tone, undertone, and coverage needs. With 600,000 5-star reviews, this best-selling foundation is going viral for a reason. Available in 50 shades of weightless natural coverage. And with Try Before You Buy, you can try your full size at home for 14 days. Just pay shipping. Take the quiz at ilmakiage.com/quiz. That's ILMAKIAGE.com/quiz.
Yeah.
I love that. Is there any, in terms of, I guess, in what you're saying, like not necessity, but having another person there to be able to help get whatever song or kind of project it is across the line? Is there anyone that you haven't worked with already that you've kind of got on a bit of a wish list?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of a lot of people. There's some sort of heroes of mine, especially in the UK, like Richard Hawley or this producer called John Parrish, like Chili Gonzalez. That are just people that I love. And I think when I hear them talk, I'm like, I want to have lunch with that person. And then when it comes to be honest, I'm just really open. I think since sort of getting in a room with a lot of artists, when it's me like writing for other people, I think I kind of don't want to not know what it would be like if an opportunity is there to sort of combine two forces. I think I'm really intrigued, even if I might not instinctively feel that's right. It can be right, and there's levels. I'm not saying just work with someone who feels totally wrong, but I think that, I think there'd be a lot of people I'd say yes to. Basically, I'm not a snob with it, but I definitely, I think the people I mentioned are super up there, and I've always wanted to work with Rostam. Just seems like a brilliant producer, and a few other people. Yeah.
Personally, out of the names that you've mentioned, I would love to hear a Matt Maltese and Chili Gonzalez record. Some of the stuff that he's previously done with Feist and everything like that, I can see working very well for yourself.
And I've seen him live a few times, and he just he's got such a bright, open, like it's like a silly seriousness to his attitude, which I think I've just really taken inspiration from. It's like everything is serious, but everything is silly, and that allows you to just make interesting stuff in the studio where you don't feel the fear of it being bad.
100%. Matt, I was wondering if you'll indulge me in talking about, I guess, your first interaction with songwriting and what originally kind of drew you to, I guess, writing lyrics and writing music.
Yeah. To be honest, it's a bit hazy when I think back. I know that it was like around 14. I know that I think I did some kind of insane thing, like an inversion of like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or something melodically. And I like wrote that with the piano, and I think it was god awful. It was so bad. I wouldn't even want to try and find it. But I think I sort of remember those early things, like doing them. And I don't know, I'm a big advocate for, starting things when your taste is not the best it's going to be. Yeah. I think that I remember doing something at 14, 15 and thinking I was like God's gift at doing it just because I could do it. When really the material was not very good at all. And I think that, I do feel very fortunate that my young self was like precocious enough to even try it, because I think I think that is the thing I do like to impart to people if they're ever like asking about starting it or like, should I start it? And I'm just like, the sooner you can start it, the better, because you have to be bad for a while. And you want to be bad when you're not too self-aware. Yeah.
I was going to ask, because there's been a number of people that have come out as fans of yourself. I believe you worked with him, but Jamie T has mentioned his love for yourself. I think that, who else did we have? Maisie Peters, who we've previously had on here a few times, mentioned yourself. Doja Cat, Phoebe Bridgers, people kind of admiring the work that you do. What do you think it is about your work and your music that is resonating with people so well?
Oh, I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, I feel, I think a lot of the time, maybe like lyrically, I'm trying to sort of be funny, which a lot of other people are smart enough not to try and do that. So I think that maybe that sometimes resonates. Who knows? Yeah, it's lovely when they do. I think there are some incredibly surprising cosigns that, as you said, that have happened in the last little while. I think the Doja Cat one especially, I was just really, just gobsmacked. It was just ridiculous. But I think what was interesting was, I think I made that second record out of like not a lot, I didn't really have any money for it. I like made it in my room. I played all these instruments like with computer sounds. They weren't even the real instruments. I like mixed some of it myself, and by all means, it's like on paper it just should be a bad album. And I think what came out was something that resonated the most with other people than anything I'd ever done. So yeah, it's incredibly nice that it does resonate with people. It's a crapshoot though, it's so random, like what levels of projects reach. And I think I've been very lucky that I've just had a chance to actually continue working and making things. And I often think the more you're in these professions, the more the more people do just know about you. And I think a lot of the time, what's really hard is having the faith to stay in professions long enough to feel irrelevant and to feel like it's not working, and still be like, well, I'm just going to make something else. And yeah, I think I feel very lucky that it's kind of happened like this for me. But I also feel there's every chance that I could have stopped. And that's just the crazy lesson in it all, is like, when do you stop? When do you, when are you delusional? When are you not, yeah. It's nothing like the question you asked me, but yeah, I went off on a tangent there.
No, I love the tangent that you went on, and I feel that there has to be an element of delusion for anyone in this kind of business, because it's what we all run on in a way. Yeah. It's fully unhinged to think, I have something that people are going to want to hear. That has always felt like arrogant to me. But like, you need to do that. You need to actually be like, I think I have something people want to hear, and that's just a really hard first step as well. 100%, and it's almost like a spectrum between wanting to be very polite and advising people maybe they want to hear it, and then there's Kanye at the end of that spectrum as well, in the kind of Donda house. But that's
totally. Yeah. People are going to want a school based on my life. Yeah. Very different.
Matt, I know a number of people who are very excited about your music. Are your Australian fans who you're coming down to visit us for the first time. I believe it's a debut tour.
Yes.
At the end of May, start of June. Firstly, have you been given any tips or tricks by anyone in the industry, or any friends that you have who've already been down to Australia, on what you can kind of expect?
I haven't. I've been told the weather's really nice by my Australian friends. I've got a lot of friends who are either from there or have visited a lot, and I've just heard wonderful things about Sydney, I've heard wonderful things about Melbourne. I'm sure Brisbane's really nice too. It's just, I'm excited to just see it for myself, really. It's incredibly, I found it with America too, and that was only like 3 or 4 years in, but it's so special to go to these places for the first time and have sort of 7 years of music behind you that people already know. And I found meeting some people after the shows, even in America, who had listened for 4 years, and then this was the first time they could come and see me. It makes for a really special night. So I'm excited for the Asia tour and Australia tour a lot, because it's the first time too.
100%. I know that there's a lot of people excited for you. Is there anything we should be advising fans to expect in terms of surprises, set lists, or just is it all kind of...
I should warn people I have a British accent. And I'm going to play a lot of music, I think. I think that is my ambition when it's my first show and I have some, a few albums to choose from. It's like I do try and make the set long enough that I play everyone's favorite. But I'm not making too many promises, because I can never play everyone's favorite.
Of course. Do you find that you have to explain that you're British? Are people surprised by the accent when you are?
Yeah. In America, it's a real thing. I don't know if it'll be the same accent in Australia. It probably won't. You guys are probably very onto the fact that I'm British. But in America, it feels like, because sometimes I have sung in this like mid-Atlantic accent, that it's it is surprising. I've had multiple times where I talk after the first song or the second song, and I can hear people being like, "Oh my God, he's British," which is so funny. It's so good. It's like when Mumford & Sons won a Grammy or something, and there was like a huge Twitter storm because everyone was thought they were from like the South in America. It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I'm well.
Yeah.
Hopefully people are onto the fact here in Australia, and if not, hopefully it is a nice surprise for them when you are.
We're going to put warnings up outside the venue and stuff, so they'll definitely know.
Lastly, Matt, we would usually ask, I guess, what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's on high rotation for yourself?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm actually listening to a lot of T-Rex at the minute. And what else am I listening to? I always listen to Aldous Harding. I'm just kind of obsessed with her music. So a lot of the new album, Warm Chris. And that's it. Always on the spot. I'm like, God, I never listened to anything. And then I think after the interview, God, I could have said that and that and that. But yeah, those are two, definitely.
No, look, two very solid choices. And thank you for sharing them both with us, Matt. Congratulations on the brand new album. It is Driving Just to Drive. It is out right now. Anyone who's listening to this podcast will be able to find it in the show notes and details on where they can see you in Australia later this month. But again, Matt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Simon. Take care.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen from the I Mom So Hard podcast.
Now listen, we don't want to brag, but yes, we are moms. We're average moms.
Below average sometimes.
But we're not just moms.
Yeah, we don't want you to think that we're just moms. And we're not just supermodels either. We're not just pieces of meat.
That's right. We're not even close.
Yeah.
But we are comedians and we're also best friends.
We're also best-selling authors.
And television writers.
And we created a viral web series.
With over 300 million views.
Okay,
What's
that's
up?
bragging.
Who's bragging? And we were in our swimsuits. Again, not supermodels.
We're also podcasters.
Are we podcasting right now?
Not right now, but we have been podcasting for 3 years. We're bringing laughs every Tuesday to women and moms everywhere.
And one dude who's a sophomore in college, his name's Greg, whatever, he messaged us and made me feel cool.
So nice. Amazing. Please listen to the I Mom So Hard podcast on Acast.
Woo!
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.